Hello everybody. On the occasion of International Women's Day, Potteryden presents one more interesting story about GoFig. Meet Disha Shah, who is the founder of GoFig. Hello Disha. Welcome to Potteryden International Women's Day podcast. And we are excited to hear about the story of GoFig. So tell me a little bit about your background and how you thought about this venture.
Sure. First of all, thank you so much for having me over. It's a pleasure to share my story with you and fellow listeners. So, I come from a small town in Gujarat called Godhra. I did my schooling in Godhra, followed by engineering at a place called Vidyanagar. I studied electronics and telecommunication. I also went on to pursue a master's degree in engineering from the United States. That was my academic journey, post which I happened to move to Germany, both for personal as well as professional reasons. Initially, I started working with a tech startup in Germany, predominantly in the area of sales and marketing. That sort of helped me get the initial understanding and knowledge of how businesses work. How do you market a product or a service? How do you sell? How do you do business development? And that also piqued my interest in the business side of things, right from the technical background that I had, right? After that, I was working with the German government for 10 years. So I led the investment promotion arm of City of Frankfurt for entire India. And that's when I also had the opportunity to kickstart our entire India operations and manage them. So this particular role was also like an entrepreneur in residence kind of a role, because I was entrusted with the responsibility of setting up our entire pan-India operations. And I learned a lot on that job, right? Post Frankfurt Rhine-Main, like I said, I did that for close to a decade, which was a wonderful role where I got to meet and interact with people from all kinds of diverse backgrounds and industry sectors. Post that, I happened to move to a tech startup called Bobble AI, based out of Gurgaon, where I was leading our global business development in the capacity of senior VP, right? Even my role at Bobble AI was very much enterprising and entrepreneurial in nature, because I was entrusted with the responsibility of setting up a new business vertical at Bobble, which previously did not existed, and finding like new and potential revenue streams for the business, right? I feel that all of these different experiences eventually kind of set me up for taking up entrepreneurship on my own. I felt like I was ready to take that plunge, become an entrepreneur, and do something challenging and meaningful. Apart from that, it was always at the back of my mind that I wanted to do entrepreneurship which had social or environmental impact associated with it. So I was always keen on ideas that merged my passion for business, merged my passion for entrepreneurship with a good cause that could also help in contributing back to the society. And that's where I chanced upon this idea of GoFig. So for those of you who have not heard of GoFig or aren't aware of GoFig, GoFig is India's first platform solution working to solve the problem of wastage of close to expiry foods, beverages, and cosmetics. So, if you're aware of the FMCG sector and how it typically works, right? A lot of products which are still good quality but are either surplus or have less remaining shelf life on them end up being wasted for no particular reason, right? There's no particular avenue for brands to be able to push their short dated inventory, and that's where a lot of negative environmental impact comes from the wastage of these resources, from these items being mindlessly dumped or trashed in landfills, right? So that's where we thought of building GoFig, which is the last resort for brands to be able to sell their good quality short dated inventory and transparently to end consumers at green discounts, right? So consumers on GoFig are able to discover good products at amazingly green discounts, and are also able to contribute towards the cause of saving resources, right? So this is my journey so far, and it has been close to 8 months for us since GoFig went live. And it has been truly amazing because I truly get to live my passion for both social impact as well as my passion for business or entrepreneurship on a day-to-day basis with this role as the founder.
Right. But this is such a sustainable thought
Yes.
and very niche field to start with. So, congratulations for the thought. I am really impressed
Thank you.
how things are going in GoFig, and I'm sure that the response must be very positive towards the entire concept of the GoFig. And as we are doing this for International Women's Day, who are the inspirational women for you to start in any aspect of the life, not necessarily GoFig, but in general?
Right. So I think I will definitely have to say that my mother has been my biggest inspiration. She actually passed away 7 years ago, but and I am sure that had she been around, she would have been my biggest cheerleader and my biggest supporter. So definitely, my mother has been the biggest influence, both. I mean, for this particular venture or whatever it is that I have. Kind of achieved so far. Apart from that, I would also like to give credit to my mother-in-law. She has been a great supporter in that she has helped, manage my family, my kids when I'm on business work, travel. She's exactly opposite to my mother. Like she is a simple lady who's a homemaker, but her support has been like amazing, and I do consider her also as an inspiration because she has helped me achieve again some of the things that I'm able to do today. So yeah, definitely these two people have kind of helped me in my journey. Yeah.
So, so far your journey with GoFig, what do you think are the biggest challenges when it comes to women entrepreneurship, and what you would suggest that how to overcome them?
Yeah. So I think there are predominantly three main challenges as I see them, right? Number one challenge that I also initially faced in my career, and I think that it's still sort of a challenge for many women entrepreneurs, is good mentorship, right? How do you go about identifying a good mentor for you who understands you and your perspective and is also willing to invest their time in you? So finding the right mentor for you, I do feel is a challenge for a lot of women, and that is something that one has to proactively work towards finding a solution for, right? If I talk about myself, I when I was in between sort of switching from a corporate job to entrepreneurship, I did have a lot of thoughts in my head. Was it this the right decision? Am I doing the right thing by leaving a corporate job behind to start up on entrepreneurship? And that was when I really felt that I needed a good mentor who I could use as my sounding board. Um, and I remember those days when I proactively went out, scanned my network, and identified one or two people who I thought I could trust and who I could also rely on for their advice and support. And I actually just proactively reached out to them and sought mentorship, right? So I think that is one thing that I would definitely like to recommend everyone, that seek mentorship, look for people in your network who you think you can rely upon, and ask them, like, don't be shy, just ask for mentorship, right? That's the first challenge. Right. The second challenge that I would like to talk about is access to tech knowledge or access to capital, right? I do see that these days a lot of forums, just because of the nature in which they are structured, are pretty much male dominated when it comes to the technology part or when it comes to the funding part, right? Like, look at all of the VC funding the events. A lot of it is still very much focused on male founders. Also, the tech sector, right? A lot of expertise just lies in like bunches of, male sort of predominantly male uh, cohorts, and that's where I feel that women miss out on a lot of expertise, knowledge, and access to technology as well as funding. So again, I think the solution that I have found for myself to kind of overcome this barrier is that I from time to time, I just make it a point to step out of my comfort zone, right? You go to an event where there's no other female founder, that's absolutely fine, but just step out of your comfort zone and make sure that you are up to date with what's happening in the technology or in the funding space, right? Third and the last challenge for women founders, I would say, is the fact that uh, there's still, I mean, despite all the advancement, there's still a lot of balancing that one needs to do with other priorities, both personally and professionally. So managing time is definitely a challenge. But I think again, I think my mantra since I've become an entrepreneur is that just seek help. If you think you need help, whether it's from your family, whether it's from your parents or in-laws or friends, colleagues, just seek help. So if you think you are struggling with sort of managing and balancing your time, your work-life balance is something that you need, then just seek help and be open and honest about it.
So I also totally agree with, as you said, you have to go out of the comfort zone and break that barrier of getting very comfortable, and be little bold to go just out there and look for help and find the right people around you.
Absolutely.
Because you have to. So entrepreneurship is basically creating the entire ecosystem where you can be very comfortable again in the work zone and the at home front as well. Can you share any experience of a particular moment where your perspective as a woman kind of shaped and gave you a different approach towards the business?
Yeah, sure. So I think I'll narrate something from the time when I was working with the German government. I was at that time, at the age of 24, selected as the director for the entire India operations for Frankfurt Rhine-Main. I was probably the youngest in my team and also the youngest to be sort of selected as the director of a particular geography, right? And that's when I was kind of interacting with a lot of senior business leaders, talking to them about investing in Germany and things like that. And initially, I thought maybe I am too young, or there's a female director. And I had certain doubts when it came to interacting with people. But over a period of time, I realized that when I was kind of absolutely sure in terms of what I was talking about, when I was sound in my knowledge and understanding of the requirements, or when I was able to articulate well what the business or what the customer needed, I think after a point, it just didn't matter how young or old I was, whether I was a woman or a man, right? So all those sort of differences just uh, kind of vanished into thin air the moment I realized that when I'm strong in a particular area um, uh, of business, and when I'm able to kind of conduct myself confidently, then these things, whether you are a women entrepreneur or a male, I mean, it just kind of it dissolves. And I think that training at a young age has carried forward with me, right? Now, when I go to meetings, even if there's a hall that's full of uh, like, uh, yeah, I mean, I don't think about the fact that I am a woman entrepreneur. I just think of myself as an entrepreneur who knows what she's doing. And that helps me just kind of navigate situations easily. Of course, I think it has built over time, like this training at an early age and then continuing with the training over a period of time has helped. But now I think, like I said, it rarely crosses my mind that I need to be sort of thoughtful or conscious about it.
So how would you define success regarding GoFig? I mean, personally or professionally as well?
So, like I was telling you in the beginning, right? GoFig is a new concept for India. We are solving for the problem of massive wastage of close to expiry FMCG products. And for me as a founder, I would consider it to be successful when we are able to, one, change or impact the thought process of consumers, even if for a small, to a small extent, if we are able to change their thought process, their perspective towards short dated goods and make it positive, I think it's a big win for us as a business and as a concept. Um, I'm definitely looking at creating more and more impact in terms of saving of precious resources. So we internally as a company, we keep a count on how much or how many kgs worth of food and beverages have been rescued so far. That number is relatively low at the moment, but to me, I think as a founder, when I see that number exploding, it will definitely mean that we have done something good as a company and as a team. Personally, I think success to me would mean that I'm able to achieve some level of work-life balance. I'm a big believer of work-life balance, and I am somebody who can't live a unidimensional life, right? I hear a lot about young founders spending 16 hours, 18 hours on their startups. I mean, while I do respect them, but personally, I am a hardcore believer in work life balance. My family, my kids also need my time. So I would consider it to be a personal success when I feel at the end of the day that I've also achieved some level of work life balance and also devoted my time to things outside of work for my hobbies, whether it's fitness, whether it's sports, reading, traveling. So that would mean success outside of work.
I wish you all the best for your this GoFig venture, because I'm sure you will be saving lots and lots of food products, and you will make it happen to reach to the right audience where it belongs to. So this is what on the occasion of International Women's Day, you guys follow GoFig as we celebrate International Women's Day. What will be your message to new, I wouldn't say kids, but listeners who are thinking about new ventures? What you learned from your challenges so that they can overcome that fast, and what they should think about?
Right. So I think my core message would be that be fearless and limitless in your dreams, right? There are a lot of innovative ideas that come to us in the process of, our daily lives, our personal and professional routines. But a lot of times we just kind of shy away from pursuing those ideas just because we are too sort of limited and at times afraid in our thought process, right? So my definitely my core message to everyone would be that be sort of limitless in your dreams. Like, don't be afraid of dreaming big or thinking big. And second thing is, be very, very sort of consistent and persistent with the execution. So on the one hand, you need to dream big, but on the other hand, big dreams are made of execution, which is disciplined. So make sure that you are consistent and focused with execution, right? Don't let things like, oh, I had this thing to take care of at home and hence I couldn't do this. So, I mean, these kind of challenges will always come up. They are a part and parcel of our daily routine, but just be focused on the execution and be disciplined about it. And with that, I think if you have a good idea, anyone can succeed with the right idea, the right execution, and the right kind of determination. Yeah.
So thank you so much, Disha, uh, to share your experiences, and we are so happy to listen to your story, and I wish all the best to GoFig.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.